Hey friends, welcome back to the house this week for another drink, and Dana has roped me into another tequila.
Both of us, and it's a mezcal.
It's a mezcal. I have no idea what that means, but we're going to find out. But I am pretty excited about this one. I know you've been anxiously awaiting for us to review it, and we're getting into it. This story is pretty damn cool.
It is.
I mean, it's my type of story for sure. So we are going to review Peloton de la Muerte, aka Death Squad. Mezcal. I just love that. I just love it. So the label is actually the flag, which we'll show you here, and that is the Muerte Hidalgo. Now that is the banner that represented the insurgent army, the Squadron of Death. It's just so badass. There's no way to avoid it. It's badass. Now, the Squadron of Death, they actually sought revenge for the murder of Miguel Hidalgo y Castillo, who was the leader of the Mexican Revolutionary War.
I mean, when you start digging into the rich history of Mexico, and I'm not talking about just the land, but Mexico as a country, as a people, how the country became independent from Spain and how it was forged. Miguel Hidalgo, he was the father of it all, and you start digging down into who he was as a person, and he was a father, and not just
multiple
the father,
ways.
Not just the father of the revolution.
We're going to post up links to some of the stories online because it goes way, way more than what we can talk about in this episode. But it is pretty damn cool.
Reading about him really kind of pieces it together, and you really begin to get an understanding of why Spain and the Catholic Church wanted Hidalgo dead.
Yeah, just a little bit that you were telling me. Like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Right.
Now, before he was executed, he gave a quote that I just absolutely love. And it's been proven to be true.
It's very true.
Yeah. So before he was executed, he said, "Though I may die, I shall be remembered forever." Forever? Forever.
Forever, ever?
Forever, ever?
Forever.
Okay, outcast. Though I may die, I shall be remembered forever. You all will soon be forgotten. That's pretty damn cool.
And
it's deep.
They were, because to this day, we don't really know the exact method of execution that the Spanish army used. There's rumors it was a firing squad, but nobody really knows. And they were forgotten.
And we don't know who the hell it was. I mean, let alone how it was done, but who did it?
We know he was tortured first.
Okay, well, yeah, but we don't know who, so yeah, forgotten, gone.
Mm-hmm.
So what is mezcal anyway? Because this is the first time that I've ever heard of it, and obviously we brought it home.
We made mention of it in, I think, our first tequila video. So mezcal is tequila's predecessor. So this is what the people of the Mexican country, region, area made before they made tequila.
Oh, okay.
So its flavor profile varies very widely, and that's for multiple reasons. So one, you have so many different ways of doing it because you use what you have on hand. You could open air ferment in a tree trunk or in a clay pot or in a barrel, but also you're not bound to use just the Blue Weber agave plant. There's hundreds of different varieties of agave growing naturally in Mexico. So the vast majority of mezcals use about 12 different varieties, and the most common variety of agave used is the Maguey Espadin.
Okay.
And the Maguey Espadin is actually the genetic parent of the agave tequiliana, aka Blue Weber.
All right.
So since this agave plant gave birth to tequila, it shares a lot of the very similar flavor profiles. So you have the, citrus notes and some of the earthiness from that agave. And also it produces a lot of the same sugars when you cook it. So the process between making an Espadin mezcal and having 100% blue agave tequila, the processes are very similar. But also there's more regions where mezcal is made. And where the agave grows, it picks up different flavor profiles. So depending on which region your mezcal comes from, and then further on, which agave plants, you can do a blend, they used, and what type of yeast is in the air in that area, you get a completely different flavor of mezcal.
Jeez.
So needless to say, I've been absolutely terrified of opening the door to mezcal. People describe it as tequila's smoky cousin, but it's not just that. There's so many different varieties, so many different ways of producing it, so many different classifications of it, so many different areas. So
Yeah, so we really have no idea what we're moving into here.
we really don't.
Okay.
So, back to Peloton de la Muerte. This Maguey Espadin is made by Maestro Mezcalero Cuthberto Santiago and his family in Tlacolula, Oaxaca.
Very good.
Yes,
That-
very good.
Great job.
Thank you. I practiced.
I like the name Maestro.
Maestro Mezcalero. Basically, master distiller of mezcal.
Yeah. Okay.
So he and his family are there in Oaxaca, and they produce this specific mezcal for Peloton de la Muerte. Peloton actually does have 3 other types of mezcals produced in other regions across Mexico by other master distillers.
Probably all have different types of flavors too.
Absolutely, because they're all done with different blends or different agave plants.
Okay. And
Different
how
varieties.
is this one made?
So this one's kind of neat. So mezcal in and of itself doesn't follow the same rules and restrictions as tequila. For the vast majority of it, you're going to be roasting your piñas in an open pit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what Santiago and his family do here. So they take the piñas and cook them for 5 days in a lava-lined pit.
That's cool.
Lava.
Yeah.
Lava. Yeah, that sounds like really amazing. And then they're actually crushed by a traditional tahona. So for the vast majority of mezcals, they're actually going to be using tahonas to crush their piñas after roasting. They're not going to be using any sort of presses or shortcuts here. Mezcal is truly artisanal from start to finish.
I'm very curious about the lava line pit. There's got to be a reason why I know that it hardens. It's got to have some properties that really help with roasting those things.
Well, you got to think about lava stones, lava rocks, pumice in general.
They're very porous.
Retains heat
Yeah.
really well. So I imagine it enables them to get the fire going, get it roasting, and have, a little bit of time to go enjoy their spirits and then come back and tend the fire.
Yeah, that makes sense. It definitely makes sense.
But
Okay.
also the fact that these piñas are roasted in the open pit with fire is going to impart flavor into the end mezcal. So depending on what is used to roast the piñas will also end up in this end flavor profile.
Yeah, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And true to mezcal nature, this is open air fermented for 4 days. So when we mean open air fermented, you could traditionally be using anything from a tree trunk to a pot to a barrel to an industrial bin. It's the key here with the open air is to get the wild yeast to come in and ferment your mash for you. And as we all know from beer and wine and perhaps some other distilled spirits, the type of yeast that you use to ferment your mash also imparts a very specific flavor to the end product and how that yeast works. So you get flavor varietals from what kind of agave is used, you get flavor varietals from what kind of fire you're using in your pit, what kind of tank you're using for the open air fermentation, what area of Mexico you're in, and what yeasts happen to be in the air at that time that you're fermenting your mash. And then to top it all off, this mezcal is double distilled in 200-liter copper pots.
Cool.
So not every mezcal is going to be in a copper pot. And again, there's another flavor varietal in the world of mezcal. You're not obligated to use a stainless steel still or a copper pot. You could be distilling in any sort of device, really. Anything you can make work. You could have it in a clay pot with metal pipe coming out of it.
What is this one from a price standpoint?
From a price standpoint, is right on track with our channel. I want to say it was between $30 and $40.
That's not bad.
For the bottle, and it is a full liter. That's the other thing. It's 1 liter, not 750 milliliters.
Yeah, that's a big bottle.
It is a big bottle.
Yeah.
And just all of the details on it, you can tell that these labels are hand stuck on because they're a little crooked. And the back of the label, I don't know if you can see it in the video.
It's the flag.
Is the flag.
So
The Muerte Hidalgo, which is really cool.
yeah, it's 41% ABV.
Which is another reason you can't classify it as tequila. In order to be a true tequila sold in the United States, it has to be 40%.
Okay, are we ready to open this one up?
I think we're ready to open this one up. So the flavor promise of Peloton, that Peloton de la Muerte says for this particular Maguey Espadin is semi-dry citric with a touch of smoke.
Okay, here we go. Ooh,
Real cork.
a real cork. Nice. I like the skull and part of the flag resemblance there. There's a light on the pour.
We're kind of afraid of it.
Just not quite sure.
You gave yourself a nice heavy pour there.
Oh, I did.
You did.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No.
Okay, ready?
I'm not even close to it, and I'm smelling it. It is a very strong tequila-ish smell.
It is. It has a very strong smell to it. Very agave.
Yeah. I can't even... That is a very, very unique smell that I have never smelled before with spirits. I don't know how to explain it.
It smells like fire. It smells like fire roasted agave.
Yeah. If you could kind of smell a vision here of a tequila smell with smoke all over it. Like you got your face in a fire pit. The smoke's coming up and you're smelling tequila at the same time. It's just really my mind trip on how those two collide. I'm really nervous on this one.
On the nose, I would not describe it as touch of smoke. I would describe it as pretty heavy on the smoke.
Well, that's why I said your face in a campfire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your face in a campfire, that smoke coming up in there, and you're smelling a typical tequila.
Yeah.
Woo.
You ready to give it a sip?
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Channel first, mezcal.
Cheers. Oh my goodness.
So,
oh man.
if I could describe it as, this is the tequila version of a peaty scotch.
Yeah, yeah.
So once again, that whole touch of smoke, this is very smoky. This has just a lot of that smoke flavor, but then the agave and the agave flavor notes shine through equally. So as far as, is this something I would want to drink straight? I don't think so.
No.
It definitely, it reminds me of an overpeated scotch, and I'm not a fan of overpeated scotches.
Yeah, I agree with you. It does give a resemblance of very heavy on the peat. The smoke flavor is just overwhelming for me.
But
it's just not good for me.
I don't experience a big hug. Everything else, aside from that smoke, is smooth.
Yeah, it's the flavor that kills it for me.
It's the smoke that overpowers anything else.
Yeah, there's no hug for me. It is smooth. There's just nothing else for me other than if you could taste smoke from a campfire, that's what it is. That's what it is, and it's a hint of tequila in there.
Yeah, for me, it's fairly balanced between the agave notes and the agave flavor. Just a little bit of the earthiness and the citrus from the tequila, the agave. I keep calling it tequila. It's not tequila. It's mezcal. It's espadin. Just a little bit of that, agave essence to it, and it's like just perfectly balanced between the smoke and being smooth. But that smoke, same as you, just absolutely kills it for me. And that's honestly why I've been absolutely terrified.
Well, now we
trying
know.
A mezcal.
Now we know.
So
Yeah.
what we want to hear from you is, have you had a mezcal? Are you a mezcal fan? What's been your experience? Are you like us and you've just been way too terrified to give it a try? Or did you have a bad experience? And there is a large population of people who love that smoky flavor. And if that's you, hands down, I recommend you pick this up.
Oh yeah, of course there is a group of fans for everything out there because everybody's palates and preferences are different.
Although
Thankfully, you and I are in the same boat when it comes to smoky, peaty spirits that we both like, nah.
This is true, and I know exactly who can drink most of this mezcal.
Who?
My brother.
Yeah, because he does have a
He
weird
loves
palate.
the smoky stuff.
Yeah, he does. Yay! We're giving it away as a gift.
Only if he cooks us dinner first.
So hopefully you enjoy it. At least the story is cool as hell.
Yeah, and it's probably the only mezcal we'll review on the channel.
I can't say guarantee it, but yeah, it's not something that we're gonna go out and buy.
Highly improbable I will experiment with another mezcal.
On that note, we're gonna go ahead and end it for this evening.
Another sip?
Another sip, one last sip. I gotta finish what I have in my glass. It's gonna be painful,
Are you
but
gonna
I'm gonna
shoot it?
finish it. Probably so. Yeah, just so I can get rid of it.
Take care. We'll see you next time.
Stay safe, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh.
It's not bad. It's just so smoky.